So cool, I think. Just take your pictures now, and then we can get back into some questions.
Lady just asked, how did we come to make the Squackett thing? What's your name, darling? What was it?
Laurie.
Laurie, okay.
Laurie.
There you go.
Well, to start with, we're the Derek and Clyde of progressive rock.
Do you know Derek and Clyde?
Steve's one of the funniest men I've ever known. Actually, he has this dry sense of humour that always amuses me. And yeah, you've got quite a crowd here, Steve.
I think likewise, it's extraordinary, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
I was just saying, you know, how we got to work together. It was started with your Christmas album.
Well, yeah, I was making an album that it took my fancy. For years, I've been thinking about doing taking my favourite Christmas carols from when I was a boy and kind of doing some of the more obscure ones and a couple of the more well-known ones with a prog rock kind of setting, guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards,
and a choir.
And the choir, yes. And the choir actually I used was actually conducted by Jeremy Jackman, who was Andrew Jackman's brother, and Andrew, who sadly is no longer with us, was also the guy who did all the orchestral arrangements for Shadow Water.
Yeah.
So
Beautifully.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
Yes, very nice.
That's a great album, isn't it? For Shadow
So, and then...
Why don't you tell us the story about the organ on that? Because I said the organ is really good on that.
The organ on Shadow Water, we can divert to that. Yes, it was. It was recorded in St Paul's Cathedral at 2 a.m. in the morning.
A moonlight, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was about 2 a.m. It was a very esoteric experience, and I was sitting there in the middle of the cathedral with my buddy, who was my kind of tech at the time, and later became Yes's sound man, and with a Revox in the middle of the transept there, recording my old choir master Barry Rose from when I was a kid, and he was playing the St Paul's Cathedral organ, and of course we weren't even supposed to be there doing it. So
it was a freebie.
So that was a great experience. But getting back to the Squire album, so at various award dinners, I'd been with Jeff Beck and Brian May, and I said, hey, I'm thinking of doing this quirky album with this revival of Christmas carols, and do you want to? Oh yeah, mate, yeah, call me straight away, anytime, I'll be right there. So of course, when it actually came to actually calling, and Jeff, you? Oh yeah, I've got problems with my wife, and yeah, I've got to go on a re-extended honeymoon. Oh, okay, all right. And then Brian,
you've never had problems with your wife, Chris, have you?
Which one? And then Brian May was like, oh, I'm studying for my doctorate in spatial anomalies or something. And then of course Jeremy Stacey, who I've worked with before, said to me, have you tried calling Steve Hackett? And I said, oh, I don't really know, I don't know. I met him once in Brazil in the 80s, and I don't really know what he's doing now. And Jeremy said, no, he's very active. He churns out albums quite profusely, actually. And
by the bucket load.
And he said, you should give him a call. So I rang Steve up, and fortunately he said, yeah, I've got a bit of space in my calendar right now. And I said to him, oh, well, I've got a couple of tracks. I'll send them over, and together with Roger King, who Steve works with very closely, they worked on two of the things in 2 days, and it came back brilliantly. Then, of course, I said, Right, could you do all of the album? Because this is obviously a good idea. And then after that, we got to know each other really well. And then, of course, I had a big debt to him because of all this work he'd done on this Squire album. And I said, anything I can do for you? He said, well, I've got some demos I've been doing. And could you come and play bass with me? I said, sure. I was living in pretty much the same area of London as Steve. And so it was fairly easy to get together and go to Steve's studio and work on things. And after a while, you know, I was listening to his demos, and I thought, my God, this guy's quite a, he's coming up with a lot of material here, and I really like it. And I said to him, you know, I really think, you know, this is good. And how about you could add a chorus here? And Steve went, oh yeah, that might be a good idea. And we tried that, and then after a little while, we realised we were actually sort of making an album together, and we both agreed that it would be a good idea to carry on in that direction with Roger's help. So that's how Squackett came about.
Exactly how long the album, because as you know, we worked on the Fish Out of Water reissue.
Yes.
And you were talking about working with Steve then, that was November 2006. So it seems to be a long time in terms of doing two albums.
It took a while. There were some details that Steve knows about, that why the actual coming together of some of the business side of it needed to be delayed. But meanwhile, we had plenty of time to enjoy working together and coming up with ideas, and that
in the living room as well. You know,
in the living room,
we spent a lot of time together socially, you know, with our wives, and it was great. You know, it was the easiest album I think I've ever made.
The great thing was, it was critically very, very well received as well.
It was. We received an award from the prog rock people in London at an award ceremony, which I think Roger has. Doesn't he?
Probably, yeah, the Anthem Award. Yeah, Roger.
Are you two guys up for answering a few questions from these people here? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. A hand in the air, please, if you'd like.